Hey guys, Michael here from Music for Income. In this video, I'm going to tell you about a big music library that's taking composers royalties for themselves. In a bit of a U-turn, it's actually a library I reviewed in a video last week. Now, I found this pretty shocking news out by doing some detective work after one very eagle-eyed viewer of this video last week spotted something very strange indeed when they looked at the music library's website. I'm going to share this important technique with you in this video so that you can know which music libraries you might want to be wary of sending your tracks to. Plus, we're going to look into whether if you're a member of Ascap, BMI or another performing rights organization, you're even legally allowed to write for these kind of music libraries. All this coming up, but before I go into it, the usual blurb to hit like and subscribe and share this video with other composers. All that good stuff that actually helps me keep making videos like these to help you with licensing your music and making an income from it. So let's get down to business. Last week, I made this video review of the TRX music library. They're a big music library and look a pretty solid place to place your tracks. I'll put a card up now so that you can go and watch that video if you haven't already seen it. But I actually discussed in it one of the potential red flags of signing with them. And here's a clip from that video. When I asked TRX about their deal for composers, they told me they don't openly discuss their contracts with their composers. I mean, I respect that in a way, as I've just phoned them up out of the blue, but I don't see why this shouldn't be open information so that I could pass that on to you guys, as I did in the video reviews of Evolution, Media Music and Crime Sonics. Okay, so they don't talk about their deal. A bit weird, but maybe this is because they do different deals for different composers depending on how much they actually want your music. I mean, it's not necessarily because of anything really wrong. So then I have a comment on this YouTube video from YouTube user Paddywhack Arts, who said, "Hello. I thought I'd have a quick look at TRX and dipped into a few libraries, selected a few styles. I do like the quality of the music while also being reassured that I could match some of what they do. However, while I obviously can't look at every single track, I can't see a single track which isn't composed by G Small and F Gerard. Although artist names vary, what's going on there?" So I go and look around the TRX site and they're absolutely right. I can't find a single track anywhere, even in their really early albums, that isn't written by G Small and F Gerard. G Small, F Gerard. G Small, F Gerard. G Small, F Gerard, there it is again. Future Dance Festival, Epic Poetry. I wonder who's composed these. Oh, it's G Small and F Gerard again. Now on a poetic trip here. I wonder if they could be also doing some surveillance tracks as well as their poetry. There they are. Prolific, G Small, F Gerard. You can get smaller libraries, which are composers who have just set up their own library for a big body of work. But there's so much music on TRX, and it's very strong across so many different styles. I mean, something didn't stack up here. So I phoned them. So I call up and I get a guy called Paul on the phone. Nice guy. He works for Top Format, who own and run TRX music. He tells me that as a composer, TRX will offer you a buyout, so you take that money and essentially sell all rights to the track to TRX. But when it comes to the royalties side, it gets interesting, shall we say. If you've seen my in-depth YouTube video about why composers are up in arms about epidemic sound, and I'll put a link to that video above, you'll know that it's because they don't allow you to be a member of a performing rights organization. So basically, as a recap with Epidemic, you're not a PRO member. Epidemic aren't PRO members, so there are no performing royalties to be paid out at all on that music. Now, that allows Epidemic to offer their clients the ability to bypass paying a license to a PRO to be allowed to use music if the client, that is happy to only use Epidemic Sound's music. So let's move on to TRX from that place and how you might consider TRX to be perhaps even a worse situation than Epidemic for composers. Now, unlike Epidemic, TRX are members of the performing rights organization in their country, which is the Netherlands, which is called BOEMA. I was told by TRX that they give composers a buyout for their tracks, but then register the royalties for themselves, and this income goes directly to their shareholders. So you can see from this screenshot of their website that they already take the publisher's share as well as these two writers taking the writer's share, and that's what goes to the shareholders. So the question I'm left with is, does this actually make them worse than Epidemic Sound? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll be absolutely fascinated to read them. Now, you might say, well, I guess some of this depends on what the buyout actually is in terms of dollars and cents. I've heard some rumours recently that Epidemic, going back to them for a second, has started to up its buyouts to composers. And if that is true, they are at least trying to give their composers a fair compensation. TRX wouldn't tell me any buyout figures, of course. As a composer, you need to be aware that performing royalties are a big part of a composer's income. And for many composers and music producers, it's the money that sees them through the times when they're not working. For many others, this income is a big part of their retirement plans. Now, clearly TRX are running a business, and as such will probably have calculated that they can pay composers a buyout figure that will allow them to make more on the royalties than these buyouts. I mean, if you were a business, you wouldn't risk being out of pocket, and if you wanted to pay the composers close to what they might get as a royalty, surely you just let them have the composer's share of royalty like every other library does anyway. So if you want to compose for TRX, be my guest, but I'd make sure that you're getting a very good buyout in return for your tracks. And even then, wouldn't you be gutted if it went on to be used all over TV and you made nothing further from that at all? Lastly, the PRO perspective. So I phoned Ascap this morning here in New York and spoke to two very helpful member services staff, Ken and Erin. They both confirmed that as far as Ascap is concerned, this kind of direct deal isn't in breach of their member agreement. I'd check with your own performing rights organization though, just to be sure that your member agreement doesn't prohibit you cutting out your performing rights organization in the way that these TRX deals do for composers. Thanks for watching. Listen, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments. On a separate note, if you're interested in licensing your music for TV and film and games, then grab 3 free lessons that I've got about how to write library music that sells and hear some amazing insider secrets from award-winning TV editors. Now, those are the people who actually select music from libraries and place it onto the TV shows. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below for those freebies. I guarantee you that there will be some really useful stuff in there that will instantly make your tracks more usable and appealing for TV, film, and games usage. Check out as well the other Music for Income videos on this channel. There's so much stuff there that is meant to help you on your journey to making money from your music. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if so, and I will see you next time. Take care.